morning, children. How are you all? Hope you're all doing fine. So, in the last session, we have discussed how the water from the roots enter into the xylem vessels, right? So, we have seen that these are the stem and these are the roots, and also roots will have the root hairs, okay, through which the all the soil will have the mineral salts, all the different kinds of salts which are required for the growth of a plant. They are all dissolved in the water which you pour, right? So what is the water which you pour, they will already dissolve, and that dissolved salts will enter into the into the stem, especially into the xylem vessels, and then they will be transported to the different parts of the plant. So that is what we have studied. That means all the plants require what? They require nutrients. They require the nutrients, right? So this is the common process. That means if all these nutrients has to be given to the plant, right? What is important here? Water is important here. So just assume that you are not watering a plant. You are not at all watering a plant. Then what is the condition? What is the condition? The simple condition is that the plant will not grow. Why the plant will not grow? The plant will not grow because they are not getting the required nutrients. So how they will get the required nutrients? Only if they dissolve in the water. If the mineral salts or the salts and whatever they are in the soil, if they dissolve in the water, then they can easily get into the water and then they can enter into the plant. But now if you don't water the plants, if you don't water the plants regularly, if the irrigation process is not fine, then do you think that the salts which are in the soil will enter into the plant? No, not by any chance. Okay, children. So children, this is the importance of water. This is the importance of irrigation in just assume a very big crop. So if the irrigation facility is not proper, if the watering system is not proper, then what are the nutrients which are in the soil? They will not get dissolved in the water and they will never get into the plants. That is how plants will not have a proper growth. So farmers should give more importance to the irrigation, right? Right from the way where they choose the seeds, okay, right from there onwards, like in all the cases, right from that particular place till the harvest and all, so they have to take a very great care so that they will get a very good yield out of that. Apart out of all these things, what is the most important thing is that the irrigation, right? That is what we are going to study now. So farmers know, like especially they are very interested to grow paddy, wheat and sugarcane. So they are very, very interested to grow. What are the three crops, right? What are they? They are paddy, wheat and sugarcane. Now, why the farmers like to grow these three crops? What is the reason behind that, right? Paddy is the one which everybody eats every day. Wheat is the one which everybody consumes, right? And sugarcane, that is also we consume like in the form of sugar and jaggery. Okay, so all these three are very, very important food for the people, especially in India. When you take in India, paddy is very important, wheat is very important, sugarcane is very important. So farmers are they are very interested, they show more concern towards these three crops. Now, what is the reason behind that? What is the reason behind that? The reason is that these are the plants or crops which get the supporting price. So whatever the price, you can get a very good price if you sell these yield of these crops. If you sell the rice or if you sell the wheat or if you sell the jaggery, sugar and all, or the sugarcane crop and all, you will get more money. That means you'll get a very good price. You get a very good price. So, and also they have the market value because most of the population is depending upon these three foods in our India, especially we are talking about India. So basically the farmers will only allow to grow these crops because they have the very good market value. So if you go to a market and you sell these three crops and all, you get very good price. You get very good price. That's what market value is. And also you get a very good price. That's what we are talking about. So market value and supporting price, because of these both factors, farmers are very much concerned, interested to grow paddy, wheat and sugar cane crops. Okay, so now if this is the case, now just assume if the farmer is going into these three crops. These are the three crops where they require more water. Okay, these are the plants which require more water. So they have to invest now. They have to invest a lot of money, especially on the irrigation. So especially on the irrigation, they have to run the motors. They have to run the motors and all, and they have to give them plenty of water. So if they don't give them very good amount of water, the yield will be very, very low, and the plants will get dry up and they will die. So that's why they have to keep on. They have to keep on giving the irrigation, that is the water, continuously, right? And then these are the plants which require more water to grow. So they have to go ahead with the very good irrigation, right? That means they are spending a lot on the irrigation. So if they are spending a lot on irrigation, so every time they have to go ahead with the motor. Okay, if there are no rains, they have to only depend upon the motor. So that's why their electricity bills also will rise. The electricity bills also will rise. So as the electricity bills are rising here, so they have to pay a very good amount of electricity bills. The bill will be more because of the usage of the motors and all the other things and all. So they have to pay a very huge amount for the electricity bills. And moreover, they have to use the fertilizers, right? They'll be spending more on the fertilizers also. And also at the same time, they'll be spending more on the pesticides also, insecticides, pesticides, bactericides. So whatever the what crop they are using, and what are the bacteria infects, the fungus infects, and all the pests infects, so they have to keep on using the pesticides. So because of the usage of if they are investing more on the irrigation, electricity, fertilizers and pesticides, when the amount which they invest on that is more, then naturally the profit will become less. Of course, they are getting the market value. Of course, they are getting the supporting price, but the basic thing is that the profit is becoming less. They have to get a very good profit, but now these are not able to get the very good profit. So that is how investing is becoming more, whereas profit is becoming less. Okay, children. So, and even agricultural officers, they keep on telling them that, so you better go ahead with the dry land crops. You go ahead with the dry land crops. These are the dry land crops, are those crops which require very, very less amount of water. They doesn't require very good, great irrigation, great water system, and also that they doesn't need that. So they require very, very less amount of water, and that's why they are called as the less water crops. So these crops are very, very beneficial, because if there is no water facility, if the water facility is less, then the electricity bills also will be very, very low. So that's how they can get some kind of profit. So agriculture officers, they keep on telling them that they go ahead with the dry land crops. Okay, children. So now, when you come to the irrigation, what is the best irrigation? What is the best irrigation? There are different kinds of irrigation. Okay. So in the last year, in 8th class, we have studied, right? So, and also we have done some science fair projects also on this particular topic, that is the irrigation. Okay. So especially when you talk about the irrigation, drip irrigation is best, right? So when you are doing the science projects and all, so what you did not do is you never went with the furrow irrigation or the other irrigation. So especially you all have taken the topic called as the drip irrigation. Why you have taken the drip irrigation? Because drip irrigation is more useful, water saving or electricity saving. So rather than all the other irrigation methods. And also drip irrigation here is a very, very important method of irrigation. See here, and especially when you are talking about the agriculture. When talking about agriculture, now there will be huge pipes. Okay, the water, this is maybe, okay, we'll see that this is the tank which is the water source. Okay, so now here the water comes like this, and whereas here there will be holes in the pipe. There will be holes in the pipe like this. So now here, what are the plants which are here? Okay, what they will receive is, they will continuously receive drop by drop water. So water will not flow heavily here. The water will not flow heavily as it flows in the furrow irrigation, and also they get what is required. They don't get what is actually being wasted. More water will not be wasted. Rather than that, the drops of water which you can see here, So it will be only just drops of water, and that is enough for the plant to grow. So that is how drip irrigation method, drip irrigation process, like, it will save large amount of water. At the same time, it also will save the farmer from from getting the electricity bills and all. Okay, children. So as we all eat food, right? And what's the reason we eat food? Because it has nutrients which give us energy. Okay, so they have lot of nutrients. Now, what are the different nutrients present in our diet? The carbohydrates, okay, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins. So these are the different nutrients which are present in the diet which we take every day, right? So if these things are not present in the food, we don't consume it. Even if we consume that, that will not be useful to our body, because our body require more and more nutrients. So to get the nutrients, like, we eat the food, and all these nutrients, like, will help in our growth, right? Carbohydrates and fats will help us to get the energy. Proteins will help in the body building, and even minerals also are very important. Vitamins are also very important. So all these will give you the required amount of energy, and also they will help in your body growth and body building. So that is how all these nutrients are required for our body. So that is the reason why we intake them, right? In the same way, do you think plants also require, like, they also require the nutrients? Yes. So the process which we have studied till now is here, like, that plants take the carbon dioxide and plants take the water, okay, and they, in the presence of sunlight, with the help of chlorophyll, they prepare food material, that is nothing but the glucose, or else you can also call it as the starch. So this is a process which we know, right? That means we are only in a mindset that plants are taking the carbon dioxide and water, and in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, they are preparing the food material in the form of glucose and starch. Now, is it the only thing which they are actually doing? No, it is not the only thing which they are doing, right? Now, these plants are also required a lot of nutrients. For example, if you take here nitrogen. Nitrogen is very, very, very important factor, right? And then potassium is also very important. And then phosphorus is also very important. So here, these are the three different nutrients which are required in more quantities to the plants. So that's why these are called as the macronutrients. So nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus, these are usually called as the macronutrients. Why they are called as macronutrients? Because they are required in large amount. They are required in large amount, and that's the reason why they are called as the macronutrients. And there are some other nutrients also, like iron, okay, manganese, boron, okay, zinc. You can say take the zinc also, zinc, molybdenum, chlorine, copper. So you can see all these kind of nutrients here, and all these are required in less quantities to the plant. I'm talking only to the plant here. So they are all required in the less quantities. That's why these are called as the micronutrients. They are called as the micronutrients. That means they are necessary to the plant. They are required in the plant in less amount, or you can say small amounts. So Now these are the different nutrients, like like carbohydrates, like proteins, like fats, vitamins and minerals, how they are important to us. If you take the carbohydrates, proteins and fats, they are the macronutrients to our body. They are required in a very huge amount, large amounts. Whereas vitamins and minerals are called as the micronutrients because they are required to our body in a small amounts. Like we require the micro and macronutrients to the body, to our body. In the same way, plants also require these nutrients for their growth and to prepare the food material and whatnot. So for every purpose, these are the things which they require. So when you come to the nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, they are required in more quantities. All these three are required in more quantities, whereas the iron, manganese, boron, zinc, molybdenum, chlorine, copper, okay, all these are required in the less quantities, and that's why they are called as the micro in the word means the word meaning of the word is small. So here macro in the sense large, micro in the sense small. So that is how all these nutrients are required to the plants, and if they get all these nutrients and all, like the plant growth will be beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, so now where are all these nutrients present? Where are all these nutrients present? So all these nutrients are present in the soil. So until and unless these salts are dissolved in the water, they cannot enter into a plant. For a perfect plant growth, all these things, all these different salts you have seen over here, for macro and the micro nutrients, all these things which are there in the soil, they should enter into the plant. Until and unless all these salts enter into the plant, you cannot see a perfect growth of a plant. So that is how irrigation becomes very, very important. So if the irrigation facility is not proper, do you think all these salts and all that will enter into the plant? No. So they cannot enter, right? So as we require the micro and the macronutrients, in the same way, macro and micronutrients are also required by the plant so that they can grow perfectly. Farmers can have a very good yield. So if the farmers want to have a very good yield and a good value, market value and a profit and whatnot, what is important here is irrigation facility is very important. Okay children, so that is how we come to the end of today's lesson, and tomorrow we'll continue with the next topic. Okay, so until then, see you all, have a great day.